So we're here in the studio. What's going on?
The big studio.
Yeah, big studio today. It's a different show that I'm going for. Like normally we'd be in the smaller studio, talking shit or whatever. But
What are you going for these days?
have you seen The Shop, LeBron James show on
Yes.
HBO?
So you want to have like 27 people at one time?
Something eventually, maybe not 27, but because I know he got a lot of people. But I like the.
That's the thing. I feel like when I watch it, it'd be more. I feel like he should consolidate it because there's so many cool people.
Yeah.
I want to hear what they all have to say. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just see them just sitting there. Like, and I know they said something, but they fit it into like, was it like 30 minutes?
I think so. Yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know on that show, like, he wants it to have the obviously like barbershop feel.
Right.
So he has like a couple people getting their haircut
Right.
or whatever, getting a trim. But yeah, like I think if he did bring it down to like maybe like say 4 people
Mhm.
at most, I think it would be better because
Mhm.
like you get more out of the people.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like all over the place. But I like the vibe of it. Like I like.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it's all about, the vibe. I think that's why I call it the shop, because, like, you know, if you go to the black barbershop, it's definitely a vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And
It's
that's what
like
it's about.
it's a laid back. Let's just like chill. Let's talk about whatever.
Mhm.
Then sometimes you get like
Anything goes.
and anything goes. Exactly. You get like a heated conversation going or
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
So that's like the vibe that I'm going for. So that's why I kind of moved into this studio because I felt in like the smaller studios, I felt like it was too cramped.
Okay.
So it was like the camera angles, everything. So here I feel like we can get more like more variety of shots.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it's kind of what I'm going for, you know.
You're the man with the vision.
Yeah, I'm trying here.
What's the vision?
But speaking of vision, like you're starting something up this whole summer. You've been starting something pretty big up. C4 media company. So what's going on with that? Talk to me. What's new with it?
I don't know. It's a lot going on. You know, we're doing a lot of productions and broadcasting, hosting on YouTube. You know,
Mhm.
to start, and then we also have another entity to it, which is advertising and marketing.
Okay.
Then, as you know, like the niche for us there is we have the videographers, the photographers.
Yeah.
So we're now like a one-stop shop for businesses, you know, who have a marketing budget,
Mhm.
advertising budget.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that entity, I mean, we're just there to make business, people who are in business, their lives easier. You know, if you're an accountant, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer,
Mhm.
you sell shoes, like you want more time to do just that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to market and advertise your stuff. You know, you want to do what you do. You know,
Mhm.
that's an entire different profession.
Yeah.
So that's how I designed it. That's how I should say. That's how we designed it.
Mhm.
We designed it to be like helpful, to be an addition, to make people's lives easier.
Mhm.
Because that's what business people need. That's what people need.
Oh, absolutely.
And then in the production and broadcasting side, that stuff we're just passionate about. You
Mhm.
know, so we've done like right now we're doing combat sports documentaries. You know, so we're building coach and fighter profiles, which was inspired by you. We call the show Friendly Face Off.
Yep.
You know, we have a women's series that we're producing right
Nice,
now
nice.
called Fight Like a Girl. We've already recorded cooking shows. We have baking shows.
Good shit.
So it's a lot, you know. I want,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, we want to do it all. You know, we have our hand in everything. We want to get into comedy. 10 years, the plan is in about 10 years we'll get into movies.
Okay. All right.
Um,
I like that. I
so-
like that. Even though you're starting it now, like you see where you want to go in 10 years.
so I mean, in terms of the vision, we got it for like the next 25 years.
Mhm.
So we got the plan for C4 Media for the next quarter century, like literally.
I like that.
Because you need to, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So Yeah, we definitely have that mapped out. Like, you know, for the next 25 years, we want to get into movies. But right now, it's important for us to just highlight certain things and just, you know, make our way in media.
So talk to me. Tell me something like, why now? Like, is this something that you had looked at doing for a long time? Is it something that just kind of came up? Like, what was it about like this time period that made you say, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it right now?
Probably just getting older.
Mhm.
I was fighting, you know, Muay Thai,
Yeah,
and I'm just getting older, and you know, I wanted to like kind of like finish up fighting on my terms and not
Mhm.
like where my body's like giving out on me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even though I feel great and you know I could train and fight right now, um, I don't know. I just got passionate about other things,
Mhm.
and I thought it'd just be a great way to address those things with media. And it's weird because I was actually having a conversation the other day. It actually kind of came full circle to me. I didn't realize it um, until probably like a couple weeks ago. But one of the first classes I was ever interested in school um, was TV media,
Mm.
and I was even part of.
It's like the same for me too. So
That's the first class I ever paid attention to anything.
yeah.
And I was even part of like the school news team. And I
Okay.
started out as a cameraman. I worked my way up to like the anchorman. Um,
Like Ron Burgundy
yeah,
style. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, not his style per se, but I definitely had that role.
Yeah.
And you know, and then life happened, and I just kind of got taken away from me. But
Mhm.
now, like what, 20 years later,
You're back.
back into it, and
Mhm.
I couldn't be happier. So it's weird because I'm literally living my dream right now. So I have no complaints. Like I'm excited.
That's good.
I'm very fortunate to have good people around me.
Yeah.
A fantastic like business partner, brother, mentor, friend. Um, so I feel like it's my duty just to honor that.
Mhm.
You know.
So since you're starting it now, like since you were making the transition from like kind of fighting and doing other things to now doing this, what for you is like what's been like the biggest challenge for you, like in starting this?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the good ones, you know?
It's weird because it's hard to say. Like I think the biggest learning curve is people.
Mhm.
You know, in this business, it's a lot going on,
Mhm.
and it's a lot you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And it's basically built off relationships. But relationships are a two-way street.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um, it's hard to pick just one thing 'cause I feel like I'm learning so much every day, and
Mhm.
I feel like there's a lot of challenges,
Yeah.
which makes it easier for me to get up out of
Mhm.
the bed because I like challenges. But I think just navigating with and around people, that's probably like, I'm not a people person.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally
Like I don't
understand.
even like people.
I totally
But
understand where you're coming
I'm
from.
in an industry where like
Like,
I don't have a choice. Like you know.
yeah. No, I hear you. It's sometimes like it's tough to deal with people. You know, for me, like I'm kind of a quiet person, so
Mhm.
like I don't really like. I'm not like too vocal and everything like that, but like sometimes you gotta like communicate with people. So
Right,
you know
right.
it's like you just have to do it.
Right. And that's what was similar. I probably have like the same. That's something I'm constantly working on.
Yeah.
Communication. I'm not a very good communicator.
Communicating with
Like,
people is like
I mean, you
that's
did
like
really well.
it's weird. It's like the most important thing,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like it's difficult. Like
Yeah.
it's not always easy to just talk with people and like even get them to just understand like your ideas sometimes. And you got to figure out. You kind of got to manipulate, and it can get crazy. So I can definitely understand now. That's a
Yeah,
big
I
challenge.
think the tough part is like, for lack of better words, like manipulating, but like in a positive way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
not
yeah.
like in a way to like. I feel like you know, if you want to work with people, you should. That relationship needs to be reciprocal, so it should make
Absolutely.
everyone better. You
Hmm.
know, like I don't believe in like just taking.
No.
You know, from someone. You know, I feel like it should be like I should give you something, and I should be able
Exactly.
to take something, and
Yeah, yeah.
that should work. That should be a flow. You know,
Hmm.
the relationship should be like a circle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
100%.
so that you know, sometimes that could be a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Like, because when you're here, like everybody's got skills, and
Right.
everybody brings a different thing to the table. So it's like when you're working together, you absolutely want to feel like for me, I know that I want to give something to somebody, and then like I want to like get something from them. Like I'm not gonna demand it or whatever, but like I feel like if we work together, naturally I should get something from it. It could be
Right.
something as small as like just simple like organization, you know what I'm saying? Or it can be like an actual like skill, like we're operating the camera, operating audio, whatever. Like that could be an actual skill, but if it's big or small, like you always want to feel like you got something out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, definitely reciprocating is sorry if I'm like a little flustered. Like that shit got me like all
Nah,
all out of whack
you
here,
good.
man.
I'm surprised because usually you're like one of the coolest people ever.
I'm like going, but all right. So we were talking about. So I asked you like why now?
I think you asked me like
Dude.
the toughest challenge.
Like the challenge of
yeah.
starting it. What's like the one thing? So like, what's the biggest thing that you want to like, at least at the start? Because I know that you're not. Obviously, we're not like 15, 20 years down the road, so it would be a different answer then. But like, right now, like, what are you hoping to like get out of starting a company? Like, not necessarily money, but like for yourself, like for your betterment, for skills, whatever. Like, what are you looking for right now?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really thought about it in terms of like myself yet.
Hmm.
You know, I started this company to like help people.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I think about.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I just look around and I try to find opportunities in which I can be helpful.
Hmm.
You know, to just my environment, the people around me.
Yeah.
With that was like the main inspiration of starting C4 Media.
Hmm.
And it just has been, and I believe that by me constantly putting C4 Media in a position to help someone or a business, through that I will learn and I will gain, because I'm gonna do whatever is tasked.
Yeah.
You know, so if I have to become a better like camera operator, I will. If I have to become a better audio guy, I will. If I have to become a better photographer, I will.
Hmm.
If I have to become a better communicator, you know, I will. So I mean, just being in a position that I'm in, with C4 Media, just I mean, I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but I don't have the luxury of just focusing on one thing.
Hmm.
You know, I have to focus on everything, or at least
Yeah.
have to at least understand what's going on in every aspect of the company.
Yeah.
And it's cool. You know, I have the energy for it. You know, I have the bandwidth for it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. You know, I'm not complaining. But
Yeah.
but that's how I look at it. You know, I try to be helpful, and then whatever I need to do to be helpful, you know, just problem solving.
Hmm.
Which is probably why I'm a philosophy major.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So since you want to help and like you're working with a lot of different people, because we did I worked with you on the Friendly Face Off the first episode. When
Good
it
old
comes,
days.
what?
Good old days.
Yeah, good old days. Yeah, of this summer, right? So when you're kind of deciding like who you want to work with, who you want to help, you know, who comes to you with an idea or suggestion, like how do you and like the team kind of break it down and figure out like, you know, what's something good to work on? You know, this person, you know, they're coming to us with this idea, like how do you kind of like break it up and figure out? Because I know you can't just do everything.
like
You know what
filter
I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah.
So like, how does that process kind of work where you figure out like this is gonna be here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that?
I mean, I think it just, the short answer is just like, it just has to make sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I don't, that's like a very vague answer, but it just has to make sense,
Yeah.
you know, like it has to be, if someone has an idea, like it has to be like it has to be a need, you know, it has to be fulfilling a need that is addressed, that needs to be addressed, or is not being addressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
if there's a need that C4 Media can take care of, then you know we'll do it.
Mhm.
And if we can't, we can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you have to be very honest with yourself
Yeah, yeah.
about what you can handle
Absolutely.
and what you can't. You know, you don't want to be a company. You don't want to tell people like, "Oh, I can do this," and you can't do it.
And you can't back it up. Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's not good.
No,
Not helping
no.
anyone.
No, no, not at all.
So, you know, if you hear a good idea, and you know you're capable, and the team can understand the vision,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone can get on the same page,
Yeah.
then it's a go.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's any kind of hiccup in that, it has to
Yeah.
get sorted out. If it can't get sorted out, it can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know how it is. Like in terms of production, there's a lot of moving parts, no matter how small the production is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So that's already a challenge.
Mhm.
So anything else added to that, I mean, you gotta prepare for what you can
Yeah.
prepare for. You know, so that's really my job. I'm constantly like in preparation mode. I'm trying to prepare for everything that I see coming, and I'm trying to prepare for the things I can't see coming.
Yeah.
And be as prepared as possible.
You always gotta be like one step ahead.
You want to
know?
try.
Try to be.
You know,
Yeah.
you want
Yeah.
to try to anticipate things.
Mm-hmm.
And at least if something does pop up that you didn't anticipate or couldn't, just in you and trying to like attempt to prepare for it, I usually find that you end up in a better position more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that philosophy hasn't failed me yet.
Yeah.
You know, it hasn't failed us yet. So
No, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So how many people on the team right now?
we've got about 13 people.
13. That's a solid
Yeah.
number right there. That's
Yeah,
a
we
good
got
number.
quite the team. Yeah, I mean, we got, you know, we have the videographers, the editors, we have the communications team. You know, we do social media management and takeover. So we have a team for that.
Nice.
You know, accountants, lawyers.
Wow.
You know.
That's impressive. I mean, how many? So with the team that you got and everything, how many? I know you had mentioned before, like cooking shows, baking shows, everything. How many projects are you working on, like for the rest of the year, basically? Like not the specific, like not necessarily like the number of shows, but like how many different things? Yeah, how many different things are you?
So, like for the rest of this year, in terms of production, you know, we're doing more friendly face-offs, which is coach and fighter profiles. We're still producing the woman series, which is Fight Like a Woman, which is highlighting, you know, women that are successful in whatever field that they're in.
So not just fighters.
No, I mean some like the woman series we have. There's an artist, you know, she paints. There's another woman who owns a vegan restaurant, dessert restaurant.
Oh wow.
There's another woman who owns a different type of restaurant. Yeah, so it's the woman series actually has nothing to do with fighting, in terms of combat sports.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone's fighting, right? Everyone has a fight.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, you know, everyone
yeah.
has some type of fight they're dealing with.
Fighting something.
That's
yeah.
why it's called Fight Like a Girl. You know, and it's weird because I really mean that. I always tell people, like, especially like the young guys in the gym, like how should I fight? I'm like, fight like a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
girls, like, no one fights like a girl. But it's hard and smart. So, you know, that's why we called it Fight Like a Girl. And so we have that. We have a baking show that we're in production with. There's a lot of other projects that I can't really say like at the
Mhm.
time,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
right now. But like there's a lot of advertising and marketing projects going on.
Okay.
There's like photography portfolios being built,
Nice.
and a lot of videos we're working on that you just can't say. Oh, I mean, just
Oh, you
say
gotta
right
keep,
now.
gotta
You
keep it
know,
under wraps for now, you know, and
yeah,
then
I mean, you know how that goes.
over
I mean, I would
time,
love
yeah.
to.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I would love to talk about it right now,
You
but
gotta keep it under wraps for now, and then when you can, then you
exactly,
can talk about it.
exactly.
No, I totally understand that.
So in terms of projects, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot, but you know, we can handle it. We're excited, and we're actually fortunate to be so busy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we'd be in a tough spot to have all this infrastructure and no work.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good.
No, no, not at all. Build up the team, and then you have nothing to work on. It's like, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Let's go, people.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, man, that's impressive. Like everything that you guys are doing, like I'm impressed by. Like it's interesting to see like a company start up from literally bottom up. Because I always hear like startup, but normally
Right.
at the point that the public sees a company or whatever, it's been established for maybe a couple years or whatever.
Right.
So you're seeing it like when it's ready to kind of be unveiled to the world. But like
Right. Right.
knowing you and seeing like your vision and seeing how everything has kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like come to fruition.
Yeah, come to fruition. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah. Because I
I've been
remember you were
reading.
talking about it and you were really passionate about it, and like seeing how everything's starting to come together and get there is really impressive. One thing that I did want to ask you is being like a fighter. I guess I could say former fighter. Are you still taking any in the future? Or?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't necessarily close the door to that,
Okay.
but the desire for that is not really.
I got you.
You know, that fire is like dim
Yeah,
right now.
I hear you.
It's like
I hear you.
It's like a slow roast right now.
But like being like a former fighter, like has that helped you, hurt you, done anything? Like maybe neither one. Has it? Basically, what's it like contributed to like this project in essence?
Oh, it's been to be honest with you, like everything.
Yeah.
I compare projects in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I probably talk to the team a lot, and like in terms of like fight analogies. At
Oh,
least
okay.
that's me in my mind. You know, like when
Yeah.
something goes wrong,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, all right, this is fight camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hurt my arm. You know, I can still throw kicks, knees, elbow. I got the other arm.
There you
so,
go.
you know, if I could get through training with no left arm or no right arm or no right leg
Yeah.
and still push through, it's like, all right, the camera lens is down, then I don't talk about what we don't have or can't do.
Well,
I
camera
don't
lens
even
being
wanna-
down is a big one. So.
That's a big one, but I don't want to hear it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't want to hear what we can't do, what we don't
Uh-huh.
have. Like,
Yeah.
when there's a will, there's a way.
So yeah, hey, where there's a will, there's a way. There you go. So you kind of take like that fight mentality
Yeah.
into this company, which is pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that that I had a fight career because, like I
Yeah.
said, that analogy is always in my mind,
Mhm.
and it's a grind. You know, like
Yeah.
training camp is a grind. It's like nonstop and consistent, 24/7.
Mhm.
So to be able, so I feel like that really like helped develop my work ethic.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of like why like I can't empathize like when I hear people like, oh, like it's hard for me to do this. It's like what?
Like,
You know, I
what?
don't even understand that. Like, I just don't even, my brain's not wired that way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you could slow down,
Yeah.
but sure, like, if you're limping, slow down, but what are you stopping for? Like,
Mhm.
there's absolutely no reason to stop.
Yeah.
Like, we're very fortunate. This is America. Like, I've traveled around the world and certain parts of the world, and it's like, I've been in certain parts of the world where there's like no opportunity.
Mhm.
And not even like what like people being lazy. Like it's like literally zero opportunity,
yeah,
like
yeah.
none. Like
Mhm.
this person cannot get to a job because the job is 20 miles away and there's
Yeah.
no way to get there.
Mhm.
Like literally, like zero opportunity. So to be here and to have these first world problems is like it's like how much of a problem is that?
Yeah.
So it's like figure it out. Like your
Mhm.
lens is down, find someone with a lens, buy one, borrow one. figure out how to use this without it. Get real close, like you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like you know, like you could slow down, but stopping is like there's no excuse for stopping.
No, there's
There's no excuse for
like,
stopping.
like you said before, where there's a will, there's a way. Like here in this country, especially, and in this city in particular,
Right,
like you just walk a couple blocks, you could find like everything that you need
right.
to shoot
It's like the most
something, do
convenient place in the
something.
world.
Yeah,
You know, like I've been in places where there's no Seamless at 2 a.m.
yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like if you didn't go grocery shopping, you're done. You're done until like 9 a.m. the next day, if it's not Sunday.
Not gonna lie, some places in Florida are like that. I went to one, everything was closed at like 11 o'clock. I'm
Right.
like, what?
Like there's
What is
no
it?
even option for like you just hungry until the morning. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
So this is like America, specifically New York City, is like
Mhm.
one of the most convenient places you can be. So don't get me wrong. It's not to say that like, you're not gonna struggle, or you're not gonna have hardships or challenges. But
Yeah,
like, if you can allow yourself to be like broken down and completely discouraged to where like you're quitting, or you're stopping
mhm.
anything that you want to do, you're really not that motivated. You
I
know,
no, I
or
agree
you're
with
not that disciplined, or you really don't want it that bad.
Mhm.
You know, because people are breaking their neck to get in this country for opportunity,
Yeah,
and they're getting held in like concentration camps in Texas.
I know. How
You
fucked
know,
up is that?
You know, shit like that is going on. You know what I mean?
Man,
So that says, you know, that says a lot. Like people look at things and they're like, oh, refugee. It's like what? Like everybody's refugee. It's America. Like,
yeah, yeah.
who's
that-
not a refugee?
That always kills me. Like everybody who sits there is like, "This is our country. We don't want anybody." I'm like, please.
It's like go back to where you came from.
Your
like
family-
your parents and your grandparents, like to figure out where you came
Like-
from, because you're definitely not from here. I
Well,
guarantee.
but
If you're not
also-
Arawak or Inca,
Exactly. What kills me, what I find funny is this. What's one of like the most popular things in this country that I hear a lot of people talk about? I'll hear them sit there and say, "Oh, I did my 23andMe or whatever that is," and I'm like, okay, so everybody does that stuff, which means you have family from somewhere else that came here, and yet you're gonna sit there and try to say like, "Oh, this is our country. We don't want people from, Mexico or anything like that." I'm like, what is this? None of you people are American, okay? Like there are only certain people are American, and you mistreated them for years and years. So people are crazy, man. But
fact,
yeah,
like,
this
got
country
killed, like,
has
a whole lot of them.
this country does have a lot of advantages, though. In this city, and you should take advantage of it. Whenever I walk outside, I'm always like looking around, and I'm always thinking of ideas. I'm like, I can use this for that. I can use this, everything. So, to me, like, if you can't think of something to like get the creative juices flowing or whatever, it's on you, pretty
Right.
much.
Right,
you know?
absolutely. Because a lot of people in other places are getting a lot more done with a lot less.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, I get it. Like, it's just really, it's a mentality thing.
Mhm.
It's just a mentality thing. It's like poor. Like, poor is a mentality.
Yeah,
Rich
I
is a
agree with that.
mentality. And so, that's what that is. So, but it's, I mean, it's weird. It's like, how do you know? Like, how do you figure it out, right? Because I wasn't even thinking like this until I didn't even think traveling was important,
Mhm.
And then my wife was like, we gotta get out there, you gotta travel. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, we travel, like, we got things to do. You know what I mean? But then we started traveling, and with the way we travel, like, we don't really do resorts.
Okay.
Like, wherever we go, we try to get the most authentic feeling
Yeah,
and
yeah.
experience of where we're going. So we'll participate. We'll eat what
Mhm.
they eat. We'll try to dress how they dress. We'll do our best to blend in, even though we don't. But we just try to really participate. In the places that
Yeah.
we've been, I find that they really honor that.
Mhm.
It's like all the places that, like, you hear Americans like, oh my God, don't go there, that's dangerous. Like, it's not dangerous. You'll be fine.
Oh man.
Like, if you don't behave if you don't have like an entitled behavior.
True, yeah.
And you respect people.
Yeah.
Like, you just show people the respect that you expect to get in return.
Mhm.
You won't have any issue.
No, it's true. I agree with that. I agree with that.
None.
It's also crazy how places get like reputations. Like the Dominican Republic, like
Yeah,
this
that whole
summer.
drinking thing.
Not only that, but they shot Big Papi. How how they gonna shoot a national hero like that? That's messed up, man.
Because he's not their national hero. Like,
Nah,
I mean, he might be Dominican, but he's the American Dominican. That's
He's-
not the same. Like, they're like, get out of here. You know what I mean?
he's become American Dominican, become Boston Dominican. That's what he became.
Right. He's like, and to be so well liked in Boston is quite an accomplishment. You know, when you look the way he looks.
Yeah, I mean, hit some baseball is a long way, you know, and they'll love you
They
forever,
did a
you
lot
know.
for him, but I feel like it's only for him.
I mean, he got shot, and the Red Sox were like, we got to bring his ass back to Boston.
They said like the teen doctors, like, you know.
I'm like,
I think
I've
to go
never
get
heard
him.
that, a Dominican saying, get me to Boston, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's the funny thing is, like, it's almost like the Dave Chappelle comedy. I don't know if you saw it, the Sticks and Stones. Like, I'm always thinking about. Did you see it?
No, no, no.
You should definitely check it out. It's
It's
good.
his new one?
It's brand like the newest.
I
Dave
gotta check
Chappelle-
out the new one, yeah.
Sticks and Stones, and watch through the credits. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
If you get past the credits, it's like an epilogue.
Okay,
Which is super
alright.
dope. But it makes me think it's like all right, like if you got shot, why? You know what I mean?
True.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, I've spent some time in some rough neighborhoods in my
Yeah.
day, and it's very rarely someone gets shot for no reason.
True, yeah. I've heard of some. There's
Like,
some
things
cases.
happen. Things happen.
Yeah,
You could be walking home, you know, and catch a bullet in a bubble goose.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
there
but-
are some things that happen,
but that's
but yeah,
rare.
I
Like,
do agree with you though.
It ain't your Big Poppy. Like, you're not like, this dude's like 6 foot something,
yeah.
right? He's a ginormous man.
Mhm.
Like, you ain't getting shot by accident.
Nah, there were a bunch of rumors. I think one of the rumors that I saw was that I read was that he was messing with some like drug dealer's like wife or something like that in
Yeah,
DR, and
I don't know how true it is. I don't want to
I don't know.
participate in the rumors.
I don't know how true it is either. But damn,
No.
I'm scratching my nose too. Sorry, my nose
No
itches,
worries.
so I
Yeah, I'll
keep going
scratch
back
with
to.
you.
Yeah,
So
there we
now
go.
it's
Okay,
good.
so I don't look stupid
Now
doing
it's
it.
good.
But yeah, so there were those rumors. How did we even get on this? What were we even talking about that got us talking about Big Papi? Getting shot?
Traveling.
Traveling.
Traveling,
Yeah.
traveling.
Okay. Damn,
Yeah.
my nose itches.
Do
Sorry,
it, you know, nah, please,
my
it's all
allergy. All of a sudden, I was telling you before the show, like my allergy is like
good.
fucking.
Flaring up right now.
It's like
I'm
damn.
flaring.
I apologize, audience. Yeah, so traveling. Have you guys done traveling like to shoot some stuff, or is it all kind of been local?
We've been to Philly.
Okay.
So we went out to Philly. We did we shot Eddie Torres, the Real Taino Warrior on Instagram, who's a fighter and a coach.
Okay,
And he
cool.
introduced us to some cool people. So we actually did an interview with Jonathan Webb, who owns Webb Fitness, and his coach, Coach John, out in Philly, which like a lot of people, a lot of dope athletes go to train.
Mhm.
So we met some really cool people. They have like a lot of athletes who are like CFFC champions right now.
Okay.
A lot of guys just getting signed into the UFC. So yeah, Eddie was nice enough to introduce us to some really cool people. So we
Nice.
did Philly, but I don't know if that counts as like traveling. But we have some offers. Like we
I'll
got
say
an offer
yeah.
to go to.
Yeah, if you don't live in the city, it counts as travel. You know.
we got some offers to go shoot some like a charity event in Panama.
Oh, nice.
Like next year.
Sweet.
And then we got another offer to go to like Cuba and shoot another project. Like some people covering like the acrylic, like the nails, like the
Oh, okay.
women's like nails and acrylics
Oh,
wave
wow.
in Cuba. So
That's
I mean,
interesting.
yeah, I mean those are possibilities.
Yeah.
You know, if they make sense.
Uh-huh.
You know, like the offer's there, but it has to make sense.
Yeah. Would you like to? I mean, I'm sure you probably want to travel to a bunch of places. Like if you could pick a place to go to shoot some stuff, where would you want to go to shoot something?
I would just go to Africa.
Africa?
And everywhere. I would go to Kenya. I would go to Ghana.
Oh wow.
I would go to South Africa. I would spend a lot of time in Africa.
what stories would you want to tell? What is it about Africa that is speaking to you, I guess?
Number one, a lot of people don't understand like the opportunities that are there, and they have beautiful cities. They have cities that are just like architecturally and just wonderful and beautiful that you never hear about or get a chance to read about. But they have cities that like are functioning better than New York City and look better and are cleaner. You just haven't heard about them, right? You don't read about them, right? There's actually a photographer that posted. He was like, these cities are beautiful and no one talks about them. He's like the 25 like dopest cities in Africa, and he was just like showing the photography of the architecture and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
I think people really don't understand like how cool some countries, a lot of countries in Africa are right now, and how they've developed. And I think like Akon going over there and helping out with electricity.
Oh yeah.
You know, he learned a lot. You know, like he's coming back here. He's telling people, he's like,
Where's
hey,
Akon from? What country is he from?
I'm not. I'm not certain, so I don't want to.
He is
put it out there, but I'm not certain. But I know he was. I watched the interview he did. I know what inspired him to do is like his grandmother won't leave, and she still lived in a place where like there was no electricity.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, hey, let me like move you out of here. And she's like, nope, I'm not moving. He's like, fine, then you know, it's like 2000 whatever. Like you need electricity, I'll bring it to you.
Oh,
And then
wow.
in the process of bringing his grandmother electricity, he bought it's like millions and millions of people.
Wow.
And then like he's come back and he's sharing. He's like, hey, whatever idea you have in America, go do it in Africa. You become a Fortune 500 company like much quicker. So I would go there. I would definitely spend some time in Puerto Rico.
That's my place.
Yeah, that's my. You know, I've been to Puerto Rico 2 or 3 times. You know, I have family from Puerto Rico, and I think that's the first place we traveled to. And there was nothing like it. Like I'd never been there before, but I felt like I was at home.
Yeah.
I felt empowered there. You know, I didn't fear for my life at any point. You know, I didn't worry about going home.
Yeah.
You know, what could happen on my way home. I felt very safe. I mean, so much so I felt like empowered. It was crazy. It was like, I experienced a different freedom in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And I feel like that about some other places that I've been as well. And that's what actually inspired me to keep traveling. So now I'm trying to figure out like where my wife and I should retire.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm like, home doesn't really feel like home.
Ah, okay.
It just after going to certain places, I'm like, why do I feel so okay?
But you're not one of those people when you retire, like when you're older, you can go down to Florida or whatever. You're talking like a real place to go.
Florida.
To go retire.
What's going on in Florida?
That's where all the old people go. Yeah.
Then you say things close at like 11 a.m. Like what's going on?
Yeah. I got in. Man,
what's going on in Florida?
I went to go visit family one time in Palm Coast, Florida. I went to go. It's like between Jacksonville and Orlando. We got to the only like place to stay in there was like there was either like an old like Days Inn hotel or whatever, and then there was like a resort there.
Right.
So
Yeah, right.
my family stayed at the resort, but like as soon as you get in, they're like, oh well, there's one pizza. It was like 11:30. Like it's one pizzeria that's still open, so you can call them. I was like, oh thank God, at least there's one pizzeria that's open. Everything else shut down at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Applebee's, you know. Denny's, IHOP, it's all chain restaurants down there too.
That's it, right? It's nothing like, you know, it's not like NYC where you're gonna get like the little Ecuadorian spot, or the Indian food spot. You know what it is? No. Yeah, you're gonna get Arby's and Sonic. And
Red
those places
Lobster.
are bad, but they kind of are. But
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest with you. I love me a good chain restaurant. Like I do. There's something that
like which ones? Cause I'm not messing with them, but Red Lobster, it's certain, depends on I'll mess with items. Like in Red Lobster,
Okay.
if you talking about cheddar biscuits,
Oh, okay. Yes. Those are good.
I'm pulling up. I eat Red Lobster
Those
cheddar
are
biscuits
good.
all day.
Those are good. I don't fuck with Olive Garden. Olive Garden is not my cup of tea.
You know what's funny? I used to like it a lot until I realized like,
It's not real
I had
Italian
some
food.
real Italian food. I went to like an Italian Thanksgiving one year, and I was like, oh,
shit.
this is crazy.
Like fuck Olive Garden at this point.
Right.
But there was actually one that I went to recently. It's out in Jersey. What was it? Bahama Breeze Grill, and it was good. It was like all Caribbean food. And I was like, all right, this is what I'm talking about here. They had like oxtail.
Right.
They had like rice and beans, everything. I'm like, all right, this is good.
Right.
So like that's one chain restaurant that I'd fuck with, and then I don't know, whatever else. I used to, Ponderosa.
Ruby Tuesdays was okay. They had nice
Ruby
burgers.
Tuesday?
Ponderosa. I don't think I've ever ate at Ponderosa.
Ponderosa was, I don't know how many of them are still around, but it was like a buffet, and I always used to love going to it.
See, I remember Sizzlers as a kid.
Sizzler, okay.
Yeah, like just the word buffet. So Sizzler's always like, sometimes someone says buffet, Sizzler.
Sizzler, right?
Yeah, my parents used to be like, we going to Sizzler.
Oh man, yeah, Sizzler, yep.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Sizzler.
But yeah, chain restaurants are, they're not that bad. I mean, you just don't want to like live off of chain restaurants, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, just in terms of like what humans need to survive and be healthy,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
what do they have to offer?
Yeah, but I will say one thing that, like living in the city, one thing that I've noticed about food is that the best food that I've had has probably come from some places that would be considered like hole in the wall, like type restaurants.
Like barely seats and tables, right?
Yeah, like the place you walk in and it's like one little narrow like hallway. You got to order down there and then wait outside for your food or whatever. Like those are the best places. I don't even care if their rating is like a F or something.
No,
or-
because those people, like, they care. Like, those people,
Yeah.
they're showing up. You know, it's the same cooks, and they care about the quality of the food. That's why
Yeah.
like the rating's like a C, but the food is like fantastic because they're putting all the effort into the food.
Yeah.
Because who cares about the like? Are you kidding me? Like this whole rating thing. I wonder where the bit. I haven't really thought about it or investigated, but I wonder where the bit. Cause I've been to certain places like the whole like food health thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like non-existent.
Mhm.
People still eat.
Yeah.
Like, it's not stopping anybody. Like no one's like, oh wait, there's no rating here.
Yeah.
I can't eat. We can't eat here today.
I
People
will
like busting
say-
down the door to get in these places, so no rating. You know what I mean?
I will say one thing, like
Eating off the street and it's delicious.
when you see the letter grades on like a restaurant, if you ever see grade pending, that's actually the best time to go to a restaurant.
Why is everything on sale? Huh?
No, because when it's pending, that means that the people who are coming to do the inspection, because I learned this from a chef.
Okay.
She said that when it's grade pending, that means that people who are coming to do an inspection can come at any time, which means you've not gotten an official grade, but you have to be prepared for when they do show up.
Right.
If they have an actual letter, that means that they've already
They've
been
fallen off.
inspected,
Right,
and
right.
like they can wait for like 6 months or whenever the next inspection.
That makes so much
is.
sense, right? So the A really reflects the F.
So yeah, so pretty much like just because they got an A, it means they were just prepared up to
Right.
that point.
That makes perfect sense.
The best time to go is actually when it's grade pending. So
Right.
I've always, once she told me that, I've always kept that in my head whenever I
That
go to
makes
a
so much sense.
restaurant.
I'm about to go
So-
outside now. Like, what's pending?
Exactly. So if you see like a letter C, yeah, those restaurants you might want to stay away from because
really?
those restaurants didn't get a good letter, and now they're waiting for their next inspection. So they're like, oh, whatever, we got a
Right.
letter, so we'll just clean it up around the next time we have to do it.
Right.
So, that's it. But I'd still go to all the little hole-in-the-wall restaurants. I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to your point, that's the best. That's usually the best tasting quality of food.
Because it's
Yeah.
the close. Because you know what it is. It's like you were talking about travel before. It's like the closest to what you get in other places
Yeah.
without actually going there.
Yeah.
Like because you go to some restaurants and you're gonna get like Americanized kind of versions of food, but you go and you see the way they cook it and the ingredients that they throw in it. Like that's the closest that you actually come to the food that comes from whatever country or place
Right.
the restaurant the
Right.
staff is from. So, those are the good places to eat. Yeah.
Exactly.
You
Those are
know?
places that everyone wants to eat. Like everyone wants like grandma's cooking.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants that. And unfortunately, I feel like this is old talk now, but I feel like that's kind of dying out.
I would agree.
You know,
No,
like
yeah,
when's the
definitely
last
would
time
agree.
you've been to someone's place that's like your age and provided that type of quality of cooking or food. You know, it's almost like
Never really.
it's not
I go
happening.
somewhere else, they order takeout. So,
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Like no, like actually, I can say my wife has pretty good friends. So
Okay.
like her friends, cause like I got invited to, I forgot, it was like a lobster roll party, which I didn't even know what that was.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never been to one of
I was
those
like, what do
either.
you bring to a lobster roll party? I was like, let's get some wine. Like, like I had no idea what was going
Yeah.
on. But it was one of those things like, I was working on C4 stuff, and
Mhm.
there was a time that was like I wasn't really seeing my wife that often. I was working probably 18, 20-hour days, and it must have been one of those times because she was like, "Don't forget about Sunday. Like you coming
Oh,
Sunday.
you coming
like,
Sunday,
Like Sunday
uh-oh.
wasn't an option. You
Laying
know?
down the law
Oh,
right there.
Yeah, yeah, which I appreciated actually.
Uh-huh.
You know, 'cause it's like she's like reeling me in. She's like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
you know, I know you're working hard. You're trying to like make things happen.
You
but-
need that sometimes, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's what she's super dope like that. And so yeah, she was like, let's go. And I went and it was wonderful. Like her friend, like they made everything from scratch. Her and her boyfriend,
Mhm.
and we, you know, we ate and we laughed and we drank stuff. And the food was great. The food
Nice.
quality was great. So yeah, but again, like that comes few and far between.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so I feel like when I was growing up, that was everywhere.
Hmm.
You know, like if I ate at home or a grandmother cooked or I went to a friend's house, like I took it for granted.
Yeah,
Like, all
same
this
here.
good home
Same here.
cooking. I thought life was just gonna be like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Then you get older and you're like, yeah, it's not quite like that.
right.
You know?
And young kids now, like you have to be so busy, you have to work so much,
Hmm.
especially if you live in NYC,
Yeah.
because rent is like. When you
Too
talk to people
damn
that don't
high.
live in, when you talk to people who don't live in NYC, they don't even understand where we're going. Like they're like, why would you live there?
I know.
Like,
That's also crazy because it's like you get the people who don't live here who
Mhm.
like, why would you go there? And then you have the people who are living here who came from some other city who just want to be here, so they pay these ridiculously high prices just to be in the city.
right.
It's
Right,
crazy.
right. I mean, most of the time, what they don't understand is like, say if I move to where you live, where am I gonna work?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like out here, you can make your own job.
Yeah, pretty
C4
much.
Media. Like it's gonna
It's
be hard
true.
for me to do C4 Media in Arkansas.
It is true. Well, you could do it. I mean, it'd be harder, obviously,
It'd be hard.
but you could still do it. I mean,
I'm sure someone's doing it.
yeah.
But it just be
You see like, they're like
it's hard to
some-
make a team of 13 people in Arkansas.
I know it's not easy. I mean, that's something I think I've always taken for granted living, because I've lived in New York obviously my whole life. So I've always taken for granted like the struggle of maybe somebody living in the Midwest or
Mhm.
whatever that doesn't have access to everything. Like
Mhm.
this here, you know, where we're shooting at, public access, right in Manhattan.
Right.
It's got everything you need. You know, this is a 4-camera studio.
Right.
You know, got green screens, got everything.
You got like
The
right.
lights, professional lighting,
Right.
everything. You go to, you know, some little town in Arkansas or Alabama or, you know, Missouri or something, there might be a public access, but you got to travel like 20 miles or whatever to
Right.
it.
You
And it
gotta
may not
drive.
even
That
have
requires
this.
a vehicle. You know, you gotta have a vehicle. To have
Yeah.
a vehicle, you gotta have a license. To have a
Mhm.
license, you gotta have a vehicle to get the license. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? It's not as accessible.
It's not.
And I can relate because I'm in New York City, but I also grew up in Westchester.
Mhm.
You know, in the suburbs. So like even people. Well, there's another thing people don't understand. Like, they're like New York City is New York City, and like
Yeah.
the MTA, our public service, public transportation service, everything is designed to get you to Manhattan,
Mhm.
and that's it. So
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
you could go to certain places in Queens and Brooklyn, and if you don't have a car, you're done.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
where you going?
Yep.
If you don't have a car, you're not going anywhere. So you go to Westchester.
Mhm.
If you don't have a car, you can't even get to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Applebee's a long walk.
Yep. I know about that.
You know what I mean? So especially if you live in somewhere, you know, like the Midwest or the South
Mhm.
or the West, it's just things are not as accessible and the opportunities are not as vast.
I will say though that the one thing that has even the playing field out to a certain degree. It's just the fact, like, everything with social media and like YouTube, that now you can't, like, in those places, like here in New York, obviously we have like so access to so many different things. But like in smaller cities or whatever, now you can just get like one camera in your room and like just webcast from your room if you want to. So
Well, yeah, in terms of how far you can reach,
yeah, now
is
in terms of reaching,
is
yeah.
cool, right? So now it's almost like you could almost like control your own distribution and how like
Mhm.
you can record something in your bedroom that can be syndicated
Yeah.
or like hosted on a platform that can be accessed internationally,
Mm-hmm.
you know, on the web.
Yeah.
But getting the equipment to do that,
A little more difficult. They don't have B&H like right down the block from
Right.
them. You know,
right?
they don't
Like
have
getting
all
the
those
camera
places.
to do that and the audio equipment.
Yeah.
You know, like so once you got it, you're good to go. But
Mhm.
but getting it, like,
Mhm.
you know, so it could be a long walk if you're walking for days.
Yeah. Absolutely. I
You
mean,
don't have a ride.
it's weird, you know, now that we're talking about this, like, it's always weird to think about all the people that come here with a dream, you know, comes to the city. And, like, for me, I guess I've never related to that almost because it's like, since I've been here, I always knew what was in New York, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I never actually sat there and kind of thought about everything. But, like, when you hear somebody who's like, oh, you know, I moved here from, you know, Topeka, Kansas or whatever, and like I wanted to go to school here and like get into like entertainment and stuff like that, and like they speak about it so like glowingly almost, and like
right.
for me there was a period in my life where like I wasn't angry or bitter, but it was almost kind of like nothing really excited me almost, and I think partially is because I was from this city that like when you have access to everything and you can just go places and get it, you almost don't appreciate it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, you take
So,
it
like,
for granted.
you
Absolutely.
because you know you could just go to B&H and get a camera if you need to or whatever video equipment or photo equipment you need. You could walk around the city and see a bunch of movie productions, TV shows being shot. Like you know, in a week I see like 2 or 3 shows being shot somewhere.
Right.
So it's like you're not gonna get that anywhere else, you know.
Right.
But
It's hard to even be inspired by
yeah,
other places. Like I grew up in Westchester a little bit. Like I was inspired to do shit.
yeah. I can
You know what I
understand
mean?
that in Westchester.
Like you just look
yeah.
out the window and it's like, and don't get me wrong, like nature's wonderful. And you should be close to
Yeah.
nature to just connect. But it's hard to get the juices flowing.
Uh-huh.
You know, when things are just dead silent.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like I believe motion creates motion.
Mhm.
So you need to be around some motion. Someone has to start the motion.
Oh man, you hit it right there. Because a lot of people that I know, well, not a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but I've had conversations with people that are like, oh, I want to move out of the city and I want to move to, you know, a quiet place and all that. I'm like, all right, listen,
How much
okay.
have you thought about this?
If I know for myself, and I would tell anybody this, I know for myself that if I go to like a quiet place, it's going to bring me down. Because it's like, me, myself, like we were talking about communication earlier, like I'm not necessarily the biggest communicator. I'm not going to be the life of the room
Right,
in
right,
essence.
right.
But being in the city helps me so much in a sense that I can walk out, be kind of quiet, yet still have all that energy from like everybody else around me. And it picks me up naturally and it kind of like keeps me going. If I lived somewhere else where I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be, you know? Because like I kind of like I don't want to be around people who are like me.
And then it's also hard to like once you've lived in the city,
Mhm.
to live somewhere else is like you realize every other place is trying to be New York City,
Yeah.
but they just can't be. You know, like I lived in like Charlotte, North Carolina for a couple of years. Like the city of Charlotte is so small, they call it downtown and uptown.
Oh man, that don't work here. That don't work here.
It's downtown. Like people like I'm going downtown, and if someone says like I'm going downtown, and someone else says I'm going uptown, they going to the same. They gonna both going to Applebee's.
Applebee's.
next to where the the North Carolina Panthers play football. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah.
It's small, and then when you hear like rappers say things like entertainers like they'll brag on like in lyrics like I'll shut the city down. They
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
Like when Dre goes to Charlotte, like the police barricades out.
No, it's true.
Like the city, like you can't, like it's literally shut down because of an artist. If
Mhm.
Dre could come to New York City, you won't even know.
Like, whatever.
Like you wouldn't even know. You have no idea.
Exactly.
You have no idea. You know what I mean?
It's-
So
yeah.
so to live in New York City and then try to live somewhere else, it's not as easy as people think. And I think that's why a lot of people move out and they come back.
Yeah.
Unless they're just really, unless they get like a really good job, like a
Mhm.
really good like a really well-paying job, and then
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm out of there. You know, I got my house, I got my car, I got Applebee's, I got Little Caesars. I'm going nowhere.
Little Caesars. Yeah.
I got cable, I got 400 channels. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Cable have a ton of channels now, man. Too
I
many.
had
at
Files
times.
for a short time. I remember we had like 472 channels. It's like all kind of like the Nature Channel, like National Geographic had like
Yeah.
8 versions.
On,
Like one
listen,
channel to be just Ubers all day.
on my cable box, like, I don't know what type of package this is, but there's like thousands of channels, and I
Dude,
flip.
I'm done with it. I'm reading. Like I'm canceling Spectrum. I'm literally in the process of canceling Spectrum right now. I use like the
Yeah.
streaming service,
Uh
and I called to cancel, and they put me on hold. So I'm waiting for the call back tomorrow.
huh. Oh man, that's funny.
I'm done. Like I just need the Wi-Fi. Like I'm just trying
Yeah.
to read and work.
Mhm.
You know.
I mean,
'Cause I feel
TV.
like when I watch TV, I'm watching someone else work.
TV is
That
weird
doesn't make me
because
feel good.
they're so like. I'm doing this TV show now, and it'll air on like Manhattan Neighborhood Network, which is one of the channels that's
Right,
on
right,
cable.
right.
But it's like, there's so many channels with so many shows. Like one time, like sometimes I'll just put on a channel and I'll watch a show for like 20 minutes, and I'll be like, there is no way that this show is gonna last like 6 months.
Well, another thing is like, see, this is another thing that inspires C4 Media. Like the quality of what is being syndicated on TV is like, I don't want to poop on anyone, but
No, you should poop on some people.
it's consistent trash.
No, I agree.
It's unauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't relate to anybody, and it's just like creating robots
Mm-hmm.
in America.
I agree with that. No, I 100% agree.
And I shouldn't have said that because now I'm gonna get assassinated.
No, but no, it makes sense. I mean, like, if you.
But that's what it is. Like, that's why it's like I don't want to say specific shows, but it's like really.
No,
like-
you'll get assassinated if you mention specific shows.
Yeah,
so
we're not doing that.
we're not gonna do that.
Thanks
Just
for-
leave it
thank
to
you for
everybody's
looking out.
imagination.
Mhm.
But no, I completely agree with you. Like when I go through the channels and I flip through, I see like some shows and I'm just like,
That's why
what?
you keep flipping through. 'Cause
Exactly.
You're waiting, you're like, what's for me? What's for me? What's for me? What can I relate to?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'll settle for this. I watched it 87 times. 88 won't be so bad.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works. You end up settling on like the same shows because a lot of the shows that are out there, like I'm just like watching. I'm like, who watches? Like sometimes I'll put on a show, like I'll look at the guide and I'll see what this is about, and I'll be like, who would sit here and watch this show? Like watch like 12 episodes of this show or whatever. I just don't. I don't get it. So it's like, I'm glad that like there are people like yourself that are inspired kind of by the lack of quality out there. So they want to put out something that means something like that, because that's kind of what I want to do. Like, you
Right.
know, I want to put out something that means something
Like
to
humans
people.
were literally designed to connect.
Mhm.
That's why they're tribal.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's trying to connect with something or
Mhm.
someone, or everyone wants to do something that requires a connection.
Mhm.
You know, some type of connection.
Yeah.
So to have access to like 500 channels, and there's nothing that you can actually connect with or relate to, or
Yeah.
something that reflects you, or your environment, or what's or what you eat, or it's like you just have to settle.
Yeah.
And then when you settle, it's like subconsciously you try to become like what you're watching, right? Or you're trying to fit in with it. And then you find yourself in an awkward place in life because you're trying to fit in when you're not meant to be fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're meant to be like your true authentic self,
Yeah.
and people should just like that, right? Because
Yeah.
like more people will be inspired. Like if everyone's just being authentic, like inspiration will flow more naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Then everyone will help everyone.
with
Like,
being,
you know.
I'm sorry, Cody, go ahead.
No.
Oh, but like with being authentic, like the other thing that, the one thing that gets me mad though is that sometimes people think authentic. Like I hate when people are like assholes to people, and then like, oh, well, I'm being real. I'm being real. That's real. Like,
Right.
I'm like, all right, listen.
It's like honestly, you don't have to be a douche to be honest. Like,
Exactly.
You can still find like a kind way to be honest.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you, like even if you disagree with something, like you don't have to like insult people. Like you could just
Right.
say, hey, like I respectfully disagree with like that opinion.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't
Exactly.
always have to be like, and I think like a lot of TV shows, like, cause you get all these people. What kills me is you get people on like reality shows that will sit there and say, yo, I'm real. Like that's me, yo. So everybody thinks like they gotta go out there and
I'm
like
real.
be this
Right.
shitty person. Like
Right.
I'm being real. Like that's me. I'm like, man, fuck off. You are not being real right now. Okay, you're being like the character that you see on TV that you think
I
is
mean, you
gonna,
get being the character you're being paid to be.
yeah.
Like, yo, this is gonna be a reality show. You're gonna play this guy. So right away, you messing up the word reality,
hmm
right?
And blur, yeah.
But it's weird because you see once you're like aware, you see people mimicking this behavior,
hmm
and you're like, to your point, like, you know, someone's like, I'm being real, but you know they're not being real. They know they're not being real, but you see someone mimicking, like, oh, that's real, like, that's me too. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's not you.
Like I watch a lot of sports.
But people equate TV with success. Media,
Yes.
that's why media is so, so impactful,
hmm
right? I think that's probably why I chose media, because I could have went anywhere, right? I could have did
Mhm.
anything. I just have that kind of, like, belief in myself.
Yeah.
But media is so impactful because people will see something on TV or Hulu or Netflix or YouTube, and they're like, that person's famous,
hmm
that person's rich, that person's great.
Yeah.
And that's just not always the case. It's like that person's got behind the camera somehow.
Yeah. That's like that's a real frustrating thing now.
Mhm.
Is that like people see people on TV and like I think a lot of times like they excuse behaviors because they associate you being on like TV in some capacities like success and everything. So, because I watch a lot of sports TV,
Right.
and like everybody always coming up with these stupid hot takes and opinions and everything. And a lot of times I'm like, yo, this is like crossing the line. Like, why you gotta say something or why you gotta like criticize? Oh, he didn't like hustle after that loose ball or whatever. Or, like, he's dogging it because he didn't sprint 100 miles per hour on that play. I'm like, who are you to like constantly judge like from your seat, not in the actual moment? Like,
Right.
you know,
Right, it's just so many variables.
yeah, like,
Mhm.
and I have no problem with an opinion. Like having an opinion is not necessarily a problem,
Right.
but it's when you state your opinion as like fact and like you don't want to budge from it, and then like people look at you on TV and say, oh yeah, like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, like they speak the truth because they're on TV, like they've done something right in their lives, and it's like,
Right.
well,
Right.
what
It's
the
like,
hell?
No, they don't always speak the truth. Like Stephen A. just speaks really loud.
Very loud. And he can be funny sometimes. There's some things that
Doesn't
he's
mean it's always true. Listen, I actually I like I like Stephen A. Smith a lot. But he he's a basketball guy. You know,
Yeah.
he talks basketball. You don't really want to mess around with him like that. He knows his stuff.
when he starts talking anything else.
When
so,
he starts talking, I hope they never have that man talk about boxing ever again.
oh man,
Ever again.
yeah.
Like, he needs to know that he needs to not do that. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they pay you.
Him-
Don't do it.
I was
Like, be your authentic self.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't do it. Like, you don't know what's going on.
He gets into a shouting match with like Teddy Atlas after a fight. I'm like, okay, listen, I can't. I'm not a big fan of Teddy Atlas like screaming when like a
Well,
decision
Teddy's-
goes wrong. but
he's animated.
He's
I mean, He knows
animated.
what's going on.
But he
you know,
knows what's going on.
He's in Teddy Atlas' personality.
and then you got Stephen A. trying to like debate him. It's funny. The opposite like Max Kellerman. Like Max Kellerman knows boxing, but now I don't know if you saw this the other day. He tried to sit there and say, like, they were asking a question at first, like they were like which athlete is the most electric? It was a stupid debate, but I think they were trying to mention like Usain Bolt,
Right.
and he tried to say track athletes are not like real athletes.
Who said
'cause
this, Max?
Max, yeah.
Yeah, Max says ridiculous things like that. See, Max
Yeah.
doesn't understand. Like, Max is well read, but he has zero experience.
Yes.
All right, so he'll say some good things about boxing sometimes, and it's cool, because he studied it well. But you can tell, like, he'll be like, "Oh, remember this fight from like 1972?" It's like, no, but I don't need to because I know boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't. Like, you're comparing things to like this boxing fight in 1972. It's like, I mean, cool. Like, some of the things he says is cool, but sometimes Max is out of his league. You know, even with boxing, like, it doesn't matter how much you study it, unless you've actually trained it, fought it, even if at the lowest level.
Yeah.
Like, you need to know what it feels like.
Mhm.
You know, just because you read about flying the plane doesn't mean you could just jump in the
You
cockpit,
could just jump in and
take off, fly, and land the motherfucker. You know what I mean? And land the plane.
Some people probably
Like,
think that they can, but
it's like, that's a different story.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, these guys, I mean, they get paid probably handsomely to flex
Yeah.
their opinion on TV.
yes.
And sometimes as fact, and that's cool. But I think there's a level of responsibility that they should take as well. You know, I think someone like Stephen A. should be like, listen, I know I'm getting paid to do this, but, you know, I need to be a little bit more coached up, or give me a little time.
Well, there's sometimes that I just wish that like any person, it's not just sports, it's just anybody, news, whatever. Sometimes I just wish that they would sit there and be like, you know what, I was wrong for some things, or like, you know, I'm not really gonna talk on that because I don't really know about it, you know, but they feel like they always gotta throw their 2 cents in on everything. Like even, like something that bothers me is like Colin Cowherd, he has a show on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
So he does a segment like in the middle, like every half hour, which is called the Herdline News.
Okay.
So like normally, like when you talk for a whole hour on your show, you figure the news is like just news. Like give me some scores, give me some injury updates.
Right,
No,
right.
it's like we're gonna give you a headline, and then we're gonna talk about that headline, but we're not gonna talk about it too long. But we're gonna tell you what you think about it.
Right.
And
We're
it's
gonna
like-
tell you what to think about it. That's the key.
It's
thing.
like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need your opinion. Like just give me the news. Is somebody injured? Is like what's the score in this game? What's going on? Like just give me the news. Like I don't understand why you gotta always give me an opinion about everything. Like
Because I mean that's what TV, even when it's not a sitcom or a movie, people are just playing characters and roles.
yeah,
Like even in the sports shows, like I watch a lot. Well, I used to watch a lot of sports shows. You know, like you know, I respect these guys, but Stephen A's a character and Skip Bayless is a character.
they're all characters. Yeah,
Yeah, they're all characters. So you know, to your point, that's why they're like they need to have an opinion about certain things. 'Cause
Mhm.
the character needs to say this or that.
yeah, of
you know?
course. But
they
for a
need
lot
ratings.
of people don't understand that though. That's the thing that's kind of scary is that
Because it's not needed.
yeah,
You know, they just created that, but that's not like you don't need to. You could just tell people real stuff. You could
Mhm.
you can communicate real news.
yeah.
You know, like a lot of people don't understand that news anchors like read the news to you.
Yeah,
Like, they don't
yeah.
really know the news. Like they're looking
No.
at a teleprompter, right? Like you can look at their
Mhm.
eyes, like their heads looking at the camera, but their eyes are like reading the prompter.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
they like that person in research what's going on. Like
No,
they
no.
woke up at 3 a.m. and they drove to work and they got wardrobe and they got makeup and they sat down in a chair and they read the news. Like,
hmm I mean, I don't mean to give away any secrets of the news industry,
no, people need to know.
but I did. I'll give some insider information here. I did intern at a network here in. I'm not gonna say which one. You know, never know who's watching.
Right,
But
right.
I did intern at a network, and like I was in the sports department, and I was there for the evening. I interned for like the evening news, so I would literally watch the sports, log highlights.
Right.
The news anchor would pretty much come in at like 11 o'clock and just like see what was edited, like see what highlights were edited, see what notes. They would call the intern in and be like, all right, what happened at this time, that time, and so you'd have to tell them everything.
Right.
Then they went on the news and then just read it.
Yeah.
They weren't even there. They didn't watch the game. They didn't necessarily know the context
But
of
they
what
already,
happened.
but once the cameras rolling, they could tell you everything.
Everything,
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, he had a cell phone in his sock.
So it seems like you would think they were watching all these games, had like 4 TVs on, they were watching it. No, they
People don't
literally
actually
just showed
think
up.
about it, right? Because you have like some sports anchors. It's like like on Sunday, right? If you're covering the NFL, like there's 32 teams in the NFL.
32,
So that
yeah.
means there's 16 games.
Yeah.
Minus
Well,
2
there's
because Monday and Thursday.
Monday and Thursday, so you get
So it's
14.
like so there's 14 games. You really think one person could watch I mean, let's do the math. So that's 14 games, and these games are like 3 hours. Let's say 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it's 14 games, 3 hours in one. There's 24 hours in a day. Can someone even physically watch 14 3-hour games in one day?
Nah.
But they get on the whatever show they have the next day, and they talk about like they know every
They'll
game,
tell
like
you
they're
every single
on the
thing.
50-yard line. Like this is what happened.
They'll tell you
Like,
every
how much
single
do you
thing.
know? Like, how do you know? Like, and these games happen in different places around the nation. Like, what are you talking about?
I always get frustrated because like I'll
But
pick
people
out
don't
like
think about that.
yeah
Like,
no
people don't make that connection.
they don't
They're like, nah, this is what this guy does. Like, this guy, all weekend, he watched
Yeah.
every game.
they're like, oh my gosh, she's a genius.
He had to watch the game. That's what they do. No.
I'm like, no. You think they literally stay like on their couch? No, they pick out certain things. Sure, they might watch a game or two, but
Right.
like they're not gonna sit there and watch every. They
They
literally have
lives,
somebody.
too, like,
They'll tell like somebody will tell them, hey, this happened in this game. Go back and watch it. So then when they watch that like those 1 or 2 plays,
Right.
they'll think, oh well, I watched that whole game or I saw those plays and I knew. Nah, you didn't know anything. Okay,
right.
you didn't know
Shout out to
shit.
the interns.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Interns out there.
Shout out to all of them
doing it.
because that's
Yeah.
what they do, Interns and production assistants, like
Mhm.
that's their gig,
They're the ones doing the real work. Those should be like the real anchors. Like those people are the ones who can probably talk way more knowledgeably about. Is knowledgeably a word?
No, yeah, sure, sure it is now.
They can talk more knowledgeably about about whatever the subject or the topic is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess TV. I think all of TV is entertainment, right? I think that's why
Yeah,
you need certain people to look a certain way.
I mean even like educational
That's
shows,
why
like
there's makeup. Like it's weird to be a sports anchor and get makeup done. Like
yeah,
you over here, you gonna talk about sports? Well, why you need
yeah.
makeup?
Why you need makeup? We shouldn't be doing this. But yeah, all TV is entertainment. Even if you look at like networks like History Channel or like National Geographic, like they always have to like put in like they have to make the show look good because you don't like anybody could sit there and just like give you the information, but you want to get like good sound bites, you want to get good interviews with people, so it's all entertainment. You don't want to just get like boring. You want people with like that one piece of information that maybe nobody knows. So it's like, oh, watch History Channel. Like when the Titanic sank, I bet you didn't know that this happened.
Right.
Shit like that. So.
But that stuff to me is like not so bad as much as like a lot of these places, you have to claim like, hey, what equal opportunity employers or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, have you watched like Hispanic news? Like what like. What news show doesn't have like the most nicest looking women?
Oh
like,
no, they
on
yeah,
right?
they
Even
know what
like
they're
the
doing.
regular news, right? Like even like the anchors, like someone has to be like you can't be like you. There's a certain look
Yeah.
that is required.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. There's a certain look that is required to have certain positions on TV, and if that's not discriminatory, I don't know what is.
It's weird. This is like, I don't really want to talk about this too much, just because we don't have like
It's a slippery slope.
because I wish if we had like a woman, a woman or two, because I do have an opinion on that. So I don't know if I should save it
I
for
think you should
another
let
day.
it fly, and then whatever backlash you get from the show, you can advertise it and market it,
So-
and then just invite women on
True.
for like the topic, and then just go.
I will say, I will say, and this is gonna be controversial. Then again, I don't know how many people see it, so women in sports, it's like a weird thing because it's like I
Yeah,
have
that started off very controversial. But
not even sports, like TV in general. It's like not just sports. I meant like TV in general. I said sports, but TV in general is that there is a certain look that you have to have, and so. Okay, I'll put it like this. There was a case that I read about. I forgot exactly where it was. Somewhere in the Midwest or St. Louis, something like that. The older broadcasters were like suing the network that they were on because they were getting fired and
Being
younger females were being hired. And so I was thinking about that and I was saying the younger females, they should also be paying attention to this because guess what? When you're older and they don't think that
gonna
you look
happen to
good,
you.
it's gonna happen to you. But then you get like a lot of women that I don't know if they understand that almost. So it's like they let it slide because it's like right now I'm 25 and I'm the one that has the job, but they don't understand that when they get to 40 and that network executive that's been there for your whole time says, you know what? Yeah, you don't really look that good anymore, so we're gonna get the next person in. It's like, I don't like some women like they love to play on their looks, but they don't understand that like, at some point, like at least in the minds of people, like looks go.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do you one better. It's like it doesn't even have to be a woman thing. It could be like a people thing. You'll like some people, like certain groups of people will be silenced.
Mhm.
Right? They can't talk. They can't say certain things. They can't talk about their ideas. And regardless of whether you agree with it or not, like what people don't realize is like if someone can silence someone else, that means you can also be silenced.
Exactly.
So even though like you might not agree with what they're saying, or maybe what they're saying is not even right, or maybe it's cruel or whatever,
Mhm.
you don't really want to fight to silence people because then that's taking away your voice.
Yeah.
So you just want to be better at debating.
Mhm. No, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like I don't think, like in my mind, like especially now with you know who is president, like you have a lot of people who are opening their mouths and saying stupid things, and it's like, you know, I understand freedom of speech, so I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, just like shut up or whatever, but like understand where you're saying like what you're saying sometimes.
Well, you know, that is that's the thing. So it's weird because I'm learning about politics. You know, I don't know a whole lot. So when I talk to people who are much more just smarter at it and well versed at it, so like what's been explained is like even the terminology, right? You'll hear people say things like Trump, like Republicans will praise Trump because he activated the silent majority.
I've heard that one.
Right.
Yeah.
So and it's just like he has activated people who did not have a voice to have a voice. Now, like what they're expressing is weird.
Yeah.
And if they thought about it, they probably wouldn't feel that way that much. But he was able to reach people that were forgotten about, and then and then that were also like left out.
Yeah.
So now it's like they're like, well, we didn't have a voice before. I can latch on to that. You know, that makes me important. That gets me seen. That gets me heard. So then I was thinking so that begged the question. I was like, well, shoot, if he was like capable of that, I was like, do the Democrats have a silent majority, or are we just all tapped out?
I'm sure we
Because
got
if he activated like millions of voters, just like do we have it's like not we, but like do the Democrats have a silent majority? Like how does
I think to a certain degree, yeah. I mean, like really, like progressive people. Like I know Bernie Sanders has been in politics for a long time, but like, you know, really now he's kind of come to like the forefront with like everybody, like kind of rallying behind him. At least like younger generations kind of rallying behind him, and then you have like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
When you recruit Cardi B,
so
like you go do some things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that there are people that are, I mean, I don't like with Trump like tapping into those people like, I don't know if they didn't have a. I'll be honest. I don't know if they didn't have a voice as much as what they were saying was
They definitely didn't have a
inappropriate.
voice. Like this. I don't know if you've been to the Midwest, but this is like cornfields and space. Like
Nah, I've been to Florida though.
right, so just
Outside of Miami and
states.
Orlando,
so
it's
even
close
in, like
enough.
Florida, like this, you can find some people that are definitely forgotten about.
Yeah.
You know, and they come in all colors, shapes, and sizes. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know, again, like
Yeah.
you know, that's the thing. People feel like just talking to people about stuff in the world, like people feel like there are no third world parts of America. They think you got to go to India or South America or
No,
somewhere
there are.
to be like, oh, that's a third world country. It's like I could take like, have you been to like certain places in North Carolina? Like I could show you some places that don't even have plumbing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you know
Go
they
to
don't have
Cleveland.
Wi-Fi.
There's
That's what
some
I'm
places
saying.
in Cleveland that
Right,
look
you know,
like
so
that.
that's what I'm saying. Like America has definitely, you could call it a third
Newark
world
doesn't
country in
have
some
clean
places.
water.
Even like Michigan still doesn't have
Flint,
clean water.
yeah.
People are still recovering from like natural disasters, like
Mhm.
from New Orleans that happened when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So you know, like look at Puerto Rico, still rebuilding itself.
Mhm.
Even though I guess they're different, you know, whatever. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Ugh.
but yeah, I could definitely say I
Just don't want to see
could take
Trump throwing like rolls of
because I know that
toilet
was.
paper and napkins and whatnot.
I could take you to some place in America to make you feel like you were in a third world country. You wouldn't know the difference.
Absolutely.
Like people don't realize that America's only diverse in like 3 cities.
Mhm.
Right? It's like New York City, Chicago, L.A.
L.A. Well, I think a lot of
Miami.
cities. I think there is diversity. I think in a lot of cities. I think in the cities that you mentioned, New York, L.A., and Chicago, I think there's some of the only cities where it's like almost like accepted. Like if you go there, like you go there, it's gonna be diverse. But if you go to like some other cities, it's like, yeah, there's diversity here, but I think people don't really want to talk about it as much. It's almost like, well,
I mean, it gets
la-di-da
weird.
almost.
Like I was in Iowa not too long ago, and it was weird. You know, people were nice and respectful, but you can tell it was very like surface-like.
Yeah, but if you nice and
It's like-
respectful, but it's like if I don't want to
But
say that.
it was
'cause-
just like surface. Like it's like how I wonder where this would go if I spent like 8 hours here. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
I wonder
yeah.
what the conversation would be like then.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And that's the thing, but that's the majority of America. That's why you find
True.
yourself saying things, or there's terms like the silent majority,
Yeah.
all right? Because the majority of America is not diverse. It's not as busy. It's not as congested and consolidated.
It's true.
There's very few cities. So you got people who maybe come from other places in the world and only go to these cities,
Mhm.
and they're like, oh yeah, America's great. It's like, no, it's not. Like, you can't be gay in like Alabama.
True. Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's just a fact of life.
But you
right?
could probably
Like,
marry
you
your
can't-
cousin in Alabama. No.
You can.
You can't really?
Well, I spoke to like someone who's in the military, who.
Did he
know,
marry his cousin? No.
Nah, they were just like having consensual sex. But
Oh, okay, all right.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You know,
man.
this is what I
wow.
mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have like certain communities. Like, I mean, shout out to the LGBTQ community. Like,
I
they're
thought you were
wonderful
going to be
people.
shout out to people who marry their cousins and whatnot.
I mean, sure, if that's what's cool.
If
you
that's
know,
your
if
jam,
that's
you
what's
know?
cool. I mean, look at. I actually watched the what was it, a year or two ago? Like, there was like some senator in Virginia that got caught dating like some young girl or something. Let's see, she was like 12 years old or something. There was actually a lady.
Oh, yeah, I
that
forgot
got
his name. Well, yeah, I forgot his name.
There was actually, I watched this lady get interviewed by, this lady actually was like, she said this, like verbatim. She was like, it's not like he's breaking the law.
Oh, boy.
And I was just like,
Ill.
it had to be like 2017. I was like,
Yeah, I
It's
remember
like,
it.
how, like, do you not have TV? Like,
I know.
Like, have you not seen like a
That's
basic
crazy.
sitcom? Like, what? Like, it's not like he's breaking the law. Like, how do you not know the law that much? Like,
I know. That shit is crazy.
You know, Right. You know what I mean? And like
Um,
so right, and this is America.
Yeah, this is
That's
America.
Virginia.
That's right.
Right. This is a Virginia thing. So you think you go to that town and be as free as you want to be?
No. But one thing I wanted to ask you before we go is, because we got to wrap it up shortly, with C4, kind of getting back to C4, because
I was just thinking that. That's when I laughed. I was like, this is like,
we ventured.
this company's about to get stomped on.
Down a
Like,
bunch
it's
of
not
paths.
gonna get protested against.
No. With in regards to C4, like
here
how
for it.
important is it for you guys to get the message out for people who kind of feel like they're voiceless? Like how, how important? Like how much do you want to do where it's like, like how much of your like mission, I guess,
I
is
mean,
to,
that is the mission.
yeah,
You know, that's what I'm going to accomplish or die trying to accomplish.
hmm
You know, because everyone does have a voice, and everyone should have the opportunity to be heard. Everyone should just have opportunity. You know, that's probably what, like, in the grand scheme of things, that's what I'm really trying to do. Like, I'm trying to eliminate like world famine, and bring opportunity to places that don't have it, because that's like ridiculous, right? That's something like humans created,
yeah,
and that's like unacceptable.
hmm
Like, you can't have pockets of the world where there's no opportunity, and certain places where opportunity is just like flourishing, or like there's opportunity in abundance. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like we're all human,
hmm
you know. Like, sure, if someone's going to be lazy or whatever, or not value themselves in their life, like, that's their decision. If they want to like crawl into a corner somewhere and not do anything, cool. But everyone should definitely at least have the opportunity. And you know, when I'm driving around certain countries or certain places, you know, I now literally see like people like don't have the opportunity to have like a decent life.
hmm
That's like a little problematic for me. You know what I mean? Cause now it's just like your circumstances are like just by chance. Like, I could easily have been one of these people had I just been born here.
yeah,
Like, all I had to do was be born here,
hmm
and then like that's my circumstance. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, that's not cool. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's uncalled for. That's something humans created. That's part of the system that we created. And if we created that system, that means we can change it, and that means we could change the system, or we could eliminate the system and start another one. And I understand that that's like complex and it gets complicated, but it's not as complex as people think it is.
hmm
Like, if you can make the system the way it currently is, like, don't be lazy, and change it. Because if you were on the other side, you would definitely want someone to help.
Yep.
You know, if you were on the other side, if you were living like you just fortunate to be born here,
hmm
like, you don't even know if this is really home. I really feel like people, like, patriotism gets weird and nationalism gets weird. Like, you should travel the world and then decide like where home is for you, because you just happen to be born in these places. And I feel like if you take some people out of their comfortable lives, privileged and fortunate lives, you know, like, no matter how much of poverty you think you're experiencing, because I guarantee you the poverty in America is very different from poverty that I've seen in some places.
hmm
Or even in certain parts in America, the poverty is very different in other parts.
Yeah.
And I feel like if people's lives got swapped out for even one day,
hmm
they would be like, yo, I wish someone would like come and throw me a fucking lifeline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what C4 Media is about. You know, like, I'm trying to get to a place, I'm trying to grow the company to a place where we can like go out into these pockets and give people opportunity that don't have it without interrupting someone's dollar so much that they want to kill me over it.
Yeah, we don't want anybody getting killed.
You know.
So with that, where can we find you guys? Like,
On Instagram, c4.media. If you're looking for the website, it's c4medianyc.com. If you're looking to reach out, and contact us. There's info@c4medianyc.com. That's the email. I think those are the best places to reach us right now.
All right. I
I'll
like
give you
the
guys
sound
my
of it.
cell phone number, but I keep it on silent.
I'm the same way. I'm terrible with that.
I keep it on silent because I need to manage my life.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm,
I got you.
I'm busy enough.
I hear you
know
on
what I mean?
that. All right, so before we get out, guys, Life and Whatever Else, no spaces. That's the YouTube. LAWESHOWSM. That is the social media. So that's Instagram. So yeah, just go to those places, and we're out. Peace.